Hi, welcome back for another tutorial. I've been receiving a couple messages asking me if I'm able to do a tutorial on a book sleeve. So I use the measurements of my book here, but again, you can use your own measurement depending on what you are using. And you can also use the book sleeve like this if you want to have the slit open here as well. For this one, I will be showing you how to do the slit on the top. So I hope you guys liked this tutorial and stay tuned for more. Let's go ahead and let's jump into it. Okay, so here's what we're going to need. This is going to be my lining, what's going to go inside. And to make it easier, I just folded my fabric in half and I'm just going to put my pattern piece over it. And then I'm just going to make my line and then I'm going to cut it out. I got this chalk pencil from Amazon. I'll be linking it down below. It's on my Amazon storefront. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Okay, once you have your lining, you're going to do the exact same thing with your main fabric that you're going to be using outside. And then for interfacing, you can use whatever interfacing for your main fabric. I'm going to go ahead and use this. It's 100% cotton and it's for quilting. So that way I can make my lines across with my main fabric. And then I'm going to need straps, so I'm going to be doing them with my main fabric as well.
Okay, I have my 3 pieces already cut out, my main fabric, my lining, and my batting. Remember that you can use whatever interfacing you like for your bag. For my strap, remember that you can use whatever length you want. If you want a bigger bow on top, then you would just make your straps a little bit longer. For my straps, I ended up cutting them 4 inches in height and then 21 inches in length. All right, I'm going to put my straps on the side and I'm going to get my main pieces. I'm going to start off with my main piece, the one that's going to go outside, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Once I open it up, I am going to go ahead and place my interfacing on top of it so that I can iron it on. Remember that you're going to be putting the rough side down.
Once you have it, turn it around because it's a lot easier when you have it on the fabric. All right, once you've already ironed it on, you have two options. You either sew lines on your main fabric or you don't. So if you do not want your lines, all you have to do is just go ahead and close it up and you're going to sew the edges. That's the first option. Second option is if you want to make your lines, then this is when you should be doing it before you close it. And I got this ruler from Amazon. It's on my Amazon storefront, which I'll be linking down below on the description. And this is to help me guide me to make straight lines, which I've used before in my other videos as well if you've seen them with the quilted laptop bag that I sewed. So let's go to my sewing machine and I'm going to go ahead and make my lines. So remember that the lines, however you want them. So I'm going to go ahead and just start off with at least making my first line. This is going to be my line to guide me. I already have my ruler here. So once I make my first line, then I'm going to use this to guide me with this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's begin sewing the lines. All right, I have my lines already sewed on there. You can kind of see them. You can always change the color of your thread as well, just in case, so that way you can see the lines that you have sewn. All right, now, if you have a small business, then this is where you would put your label before closing it up. And I have mine here. I got this one from Ever Emblem. I'm going to go ahead and put them on the description below. These are iron-on labels, and I like sewing around them as well, just so that the label can be secured and it won't come off. And the next step that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the main fabric, and we are going to be stitching up the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch it up, and I'm going to do about 3/8 all across this side and this side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just sew down the line right here all the way down, as well as on the other side. I have sewed already my main fabric, so I'm going to go ahead and put that one on the side. Now I'm going to grab my lining, and for my lining I'm going to go ahead and sew all of one side, and on the other side you're going to leave a gap so that way you are able to, you can pull out your main fabric. I'm going to go ahead and clip it, and you can choose whatever side you like to leave your opening. That's what we're going to do for the lining. For the straps, I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half, and you can use your iron so you can flatten them down so it can be easier for you when you are sewing. Once you fold it in half, you're going to go ahead and just cut a slanted line from the point. Okay, so you're just going to start from the very corner and just give it a nice slant right there. That's what's going to give you a nice look for the bow. And then you're going to do the exact same thing with the other one. Now that you've done that, now we're going to go ahead and go to our sewing machine so you can start sewing from that tip and then all the way down and across. And the same thing with this one. I'm going to sew also 3/8 just so that it can be the same measurement for my main fabric. And now we're going to turn them inside out. You can use whatever tool you have in order for you to turn your straps around. I have this one that my dad had built for me, and it has worked really good when I have to turn them around. And then you can just go ahead and grab something else to be able to poke out the edge. Just don't use the scissors, are going to make a hole if they're really sharp. So let's go ahead and just poke out the edge. There we go. I used a seam ripper, at least the corner of the tip of it. All right, and then we can go ahead and iron them so that way you can have a nice flat strap. Okay, now to give it a nice look, you can go to your sewing machine and give it a top stitch all the way around so that way your bow does not move around. All right, I have my straps already done. Next thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and cut out the corner here. So cut that corner, this corner, and then you're also going to do the same thing with your lining. Cut the corner on both sides. And now we're going to turn our main fabric inside out. Make sure that you poke out the edge. And then if you see any loose threads, go ahead and you can also cut them out. Okay, and there we go. Look at how cute it's turning out. And now you're going to grab one of your straps and you're going to place it right down the middle. And you're going to do the exact same thing for the other side. So make sure that you're placing them the same. Okay, and then we're going to go to our sewing machine and sew a couple of times going back and forth so that way our straps do not fall out when we are tying our bow. All right, now that you've sewed your straps, I went about 2 or 3 times going back and forth. And now I'm going to go ahead and place it like that. Place this one like this. And now we're going to insert it on our lining. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and clip it down. I'm going to do seam allowance with seam allowance. So I'm going to go get those edges first. And then the other side, seam allowance with seam allowance. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip this side and this side. And then I'm going to go to my sewing machine and then I'm going to sew all the way around. And I'm going to do about 3/8 all the way around. Okay, and then we just need 2 more things and then we're done. Go ahead and you're going to pull it out. Make sure to get those edges, those corners from your lining, poke them out, and then you're going to go to your sewing machine to close up your lining. Okay, once you've closed it, go ahead and now you're going to push in your lining. And the last step is to give it a nice stitch on the top all the way around. So make sure that you are pushing down your lining. And you are done with your book sleeve. Look at how cute this is. I'm gonna go ahead and insert my book. You have some space in the on the top just in case you have an iPad or a longer book. Remember, this depends on the book that you would like to make a book sleeve. So all the books are different sizes. So this, it all depends on your own measurements of your book. And look at how cute it is. And then again, you can make your straps smaller or longer. That is up to you. Look at how cute that is. I hope you guys like this tutorial. Make sure to like it and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next tutorial.